They say they want to hit it wrong. These niggas claiming that they boss. These niggas been a moving coach. Then they make the wrong move. They see me, they like, ooh, keep on stopping. I'm on my way up and they ain't gonna stop it. They say they want to hit it wrong. I'm on my way. I'm coming up on my way. They see me, they like, ooh, keep on stopping. I'm on my body. Real niggas right beside me. Damn right, I'm from my hobby, going up like a rocket. Can't nobody stop me. These niggas got so watch your mouth, boy. Coming all black, slipping house, coming out, boy. I'm off that hip like a cowboy. I'm a king, you should bow, boy. Shorty like that, man. Nothing I can handle. 144 minutes, going around, niggas do you dirty like a stick in a band. Why I pay the corner like a thumb with a band. I'ma leave like them. Keep on stopping at this bitch on the head. Got this bitch, got the drip. About to hit this bitch with the soul. It ain't rapping. Listen with the cops. They say they want to hit it wrong. These niggas claiming that they boss. These niggas been a moving coach. Then they make the wrong move. Feeling like a legend in this shit, little nigga, I'm past veteran. Never been a third, little nigga, I'm past second. Guns, I gotta have them all like Ash-Ketchum. Shotty break the nigga ribs up like it's white plus. We all steppin', kill you with kindness cause I'm dead nice. That 5'7", put you 6 feet, not talking height. That judge giving out 5, what you doing like? These hands are root GPS, a mean right. That's mean right, we build different, you know the vibes. Every stamp is all finished, we know the rhyme. I keep a 144 because I know what's God. Know what's God, you know I'm handle when we flow and ride. We back again, no cap when I'm with camp again. Yeah, they said they must smoke it, so we mention them. Everything righteous, so you know when we get back at them, you get hit up with a K, but no acronym. They say they want to hit it wrong. These niggas claiming that they boss. These niggas been a moving coach. Until they make the wrong move. See me, they like, keep on stopping. I'm on my way up and they ain't gonna stop it. They say they want to hit it wrong. I'm on my way. I'm coming up on the
Yeah, Shalom Israel.
Yes, Shalom.
We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. We've been teaching the truth about the Bible since 1969, that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. All right, tonight is the Monday night history class. All right, but before I get into the class, I'll just go through the schedule of the classes locally here in Trinidad and Tobago. All right. And as I said earlier, tonight is the Monday night history class, right? This class is usually done by Priest and Officer Makakobal. I am Priest and Officer Maikwa, holding on the class on behalf of Priest and Officer Makakobal tonight. All right. On a Tuesday is the Brotherhood class, which is done by Priest and Officer Sowapiala. This Priest and Officer Sowapiala, Salakia, Priest and Officer Sowapiala does the Brotherhood class. Right, on a Wednesday, the law class, which is done by Priest and Officer Matkwayak. Right, on a Thursday, we do not have any classes locally here in Trinidad, but from time to time, we do stream the classes from Harlem, New York, with 12 Shield General Mahaiman.
That's right.
On a Friday, right, is the Lashawan Kwadash, which is done by Priest and Officer Yakad. right? In this class, you learn to read, write, and speak Hebrew, right? It's a very interactive class as well, so you could participate and learn the ancient and the modern Hebrew, right? The Paleo Hebrew and the Assyrian Hebrew, right? Also, we have the Sabbath service on a Saturday, which is done by preaching officer Yakad and preaching officer Sowapiala. Also, from time to time, you may see other brothers conduct the Sabbath service as well, right? On a Sunday, right, is the scripture breakdown class. That class is done by priest and officer Galawan. Priest and officer Galawan is the head of the Trinidad and Tobago camp, right? The scripture breakdown class is a highly interactive class where you could tune in, right? Any questions that they have about the Bible, right, you could ask it and you will get the answer, right? All these classes, right, usually start from 7 to 9 p.m. but due to the curfew and state of emergency here in Trinidad and Tobago, these classes will be starting from 6 p.m. right to 8 p.m. right. Tonight we had some technical difficulties, so the classes started a bit late, right? Also, all these classes starting from 6 to 8 Salakia, and the Sabbath service runs from 10 a.m. right? The Sabbath service, which is Saturday, runs from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, right? And also the scripture breakdown class was moved up, right, from 7 p.m. in the night to 12 noon, right? So this will only be just for the course of the state of emergency, and then as the changes make, right, you will be able to know all the updates on the social media platforms, right? So you'll know the changes at the times of the classes, right? And that is pretty much about it, right? So we're going to go straight into the class, right? So that we could capitalize on the time, right? So tonight class, right, is adultery, right? It's not what your pastor taught you, right? And this is something that many Christian churches, right, and even the common man in the street who don't even attend the church, right, because the spread of Christianity among all these religions and among society, right, they have picked up the common knowledge of adultery, and this knowledge, right, that they have of adultery is wrong. That is not in the Bible, right? What they have in their mind is not in the Bible, right? According to the Bible, right? We're going to see what exactly is adultery, right? And the rubbish our Christian leaders have been teaching us for years, right? So we can't even blame the people in the congregation for these mistakes, because they're totally ignorant at the fact, right, of what is adultery, right? So we're going to, this is the Monday night history class, so we're going to go back in history and see what was adultery from the beginning. That's right. From way back, right, when the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, who are the Israelites of the Bible, from way back when we were given this law, we're going to see what exactly adultery was, right? So we're going to start off, right, with what adultery is in the dictionary, right? In this white man's society, in the white man's dictionary, right, and his philosophy, right? This is what adultery is, right, to the world as it is now, right? So this is adultery, right? And this is what it's saying here. It's a voluntary sexual intercourse between a married person and a person who is not his or her spouse, right? And this is the definition for adultery in the world, right? But according to the Bible, right, this is not so. It has some gross inaccuracies with the statement, right? So I'll just read it back one more time again, right, before we go into what the Bible actually say, right? So according to the world, right, adultery is voluntary sexual intercourse between a married person and a person who is not his or her spouse, right? So this is a married person and they decide to sleep with somebody else, right? And they call that adultery, right? So now we're going to go in the scriptures and understand what is adultery, right? So you will hold for me, Babakusha, Exodus 20 and verse 14. Right, yeah. Exodus 20 and verse 14. And 14. Yeah. Can. Start to read it. Salakia, right? Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 1, and then we will come back to Exodus 20 and 14, right? Can.
Deuteronomy chapter 28
and verse 1.
and verse 1.
Come on.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power.
Right? So it say, if thou will listen diligently to the laws written in the book, the Constitution of the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, go ahead.
To observe and to do all his commandments.
Right? To observe and to do all the instructions that the Most High Power gave us to follow. Right? To build our nation, the things to guide in a day-to-day life on the face of the earth. If we would follow these instructions, go ahead.
Which I command thee this day.
Which the Most High commanded us to do. Right? Commanded the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. This, right, was the instructions for us to live on the face of the earth, for us to live our best lives on the earth.
Right.
Right? But because the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man didn't follow these instructions, now we live in worse lives on the earth. Right. Now we under police brutality, police coughing off we mask or we face, right? I that's just a local term here in Trinidad, right? For your face, right? Police beating you, breaking down your house anytime, right? They're facing all the time police brutality, man murdering man, right? Because in this very same topic, right? Adultery is a major factor, right? That leads to murder.
That's right.
You understand? So the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man needs to know what really is adultery, right? And not the garbage that is in the Christian church, right? So continuing the scripture, Baba Kusha.
That the Most High thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Right? And if we were to do this, right, he would set us on high above all nations of the earth. Right? And when we say above all nations of the earth, we mean in rulership. Right? And because they were in rulership, that's why that's when they live in the best life that they can live on the face of this earth. Right? So from there, we'll jump back to Exodus chapter 20 and verse 14, Baba Kusha.
Right. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 14.
Right? So way back in the book of Exodus, right, with our forefather Moses, right, we were commanded this instruction from the Most High Power, the Most High God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God of the Israelites, right? Go ahead.
Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Right? And we were given this instruction. We were not supposed to commit adultery, right? And most times, right, this is not understood. And a major factor for it not being understood is that the Christian church has always pushed the doctrine that the laws, right, are done away with. All these laws in the Old Testament are done away with, right? And these things is what is leading to the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man's destruction today. Right? That is like when I exactly said when I said earlier, right, that adultery is one of the major causes of murder.
That's right.
Right? Because a man now going to sleep with the next man's wife, right? And because of his lack of understanding from the Christian church, right, he does not understand what he's committing will lead to his own destruction, right? And we'll get to that when we go lower down in the class tonight, right? So coming back to the scripture now, it's saying now, thou shalt not commit adultery. And when the Christian pastor, right, does not show his congregation this, they don't understand.
Right.
Because if you think this done away with, right, you will never even look at it or investigate it. In a sense, so you have no business looking up what really is adultery, right? And those now who touch it, right, and who only say, well, we only read the Old Testament. Now they have a problem as well, and that's where I come from, because they only stick with these 10 commandments and these laws in the scripture, and not totally examining the entire book, right? The whole book of the law is the commandments of the Most High, and they're not investigating the entire book to see what really is adultery. Because from this statement, it may be very hard, right, for the average man to understand what is adultery, because the statement just say, thou shalt not commit adultery. Say, no, you're not supposed to do it, but they don't know what it is, right? So we're going to investigate what adultery really is, right? So from there, you go jump, Baba Kusha, you go into Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 22, Baba Kusha.
22 and
verse 22.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 22 and verse 22.
Go ahead.
If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband.
All right, so it's starting to describe the situation, you know, so the average man will be able to understand exactly what adultery is, right? And there's the beautiful thing about the Most High. He does make everything simple. You understand? So nothing complicated, right? Nothing complicated or hard. You understand that they had to learn over and over to try to remember. He's make it very simple for the average man to understand, right? So that's why he say law is not grievous. This is not nothing hard to follow, all right? So Salakia, read back from the top of Bakasha.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 22. If a man be found lying with a woman married to an husband.
Right. So this man, right, found sleeping or having sex with a woman who married with a husband. Go ahead.
Then they shall both, Salakia, then they shall both of them die.
Right. Then both of them should die. Go ahead.
Both the man that lay with the woman.
Both the man that lay with the woman
and the woman.
Right. Go ahead.
So shall thou put away evil from Israel.
Right. And this is the law in the book of Deuteronomy. Right. So the both the man and the woman, right, would be put to death. Right. Now we're not being it wouldn't be put to death by the priest, because the nation of Israel is lost and destroyed. Right. And thank God for commanding GEN.YAHANNA in the I.S.U.P.K. we'll be able now to start building back our nation. Right, but the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, because he's ignorant of this law, dies every day on the street because he continues to break the laws of the Most High.
That's right.
You understand? The evils of this world will take you. Police will continue to break down your door. People will continue to murder you on the street. You understand where I come from? You will continue to go in another man's wife house, and you will come home and you will find it and you will shoot you.
That's right.
You understand? So you will still die. Right, according to the scripture, right? And this, right, they had to kill the man and the woman to rid the nation of this evil, because this is something that has spread. And that's where I come from. This is something that infect and degrade a nation, make a nation fall to pieces, right? And make the entire the daughters of the nation go to whoredom, right? So this is what I allow for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man in Israel. We were not, so a man was not to sleep with another woman who is married. Right? Continue, Babakasha.
Verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and a man find her in the city.
Right? So this is a damsel who is a virgin. When I say a virgin, right, it means a woman of marriageable age.
Right.
Right, so so like I read back from the top of Bakasha.
Verse 23. If a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband.
When I say if she be betrothed to her husband, means she was promised to her husband, right? So the modern day word call it engaged, but back then it was betrothed, right? Go ahead.
And a man find her in the city.
And a man find her in the city, right? So it had neighbors around, right? She living in the town, right? Where other people live. And continue.
And lie with her.
And lie with her. Go ahead.
Then he shall bring both out unto the gate of that city. And he shall stone them with stones that they die.
That's right. And he shall stone them with stones that they die. And this is how serious that was. You understand where I come from? The bringing out by the gate, by the entrance in the city. And understand? So locally, if you say Port of Spain, they carry by the entrance in Port of Spain, which saying welcome to Port of Spain, and stone it to death for everybody to see, bring out in the tongue, in the middle, in the heart of the tongue, Woodfoot Square, wherever it may be. That is the main central part where everybody walking, and stone it to death. That's how serious this was long time, right? And because these things are not taught now, in the Christian church, everybody take it at ease. Understand? They now preach in the church that Christ soft. Understand where I'm from?
That's right.
The Most High soft. That have this nice, or not this nice, this filthy, effeminate image.
That's right.
Understand, of Christ. Understand? But according to the Bible, Christ is an austere man, a serious man, right? And these laws was written for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man. Not to bring grievous burden on you, but to build a nation, to build a society, for you to be a better man and woman on the face of the earth. right? For you not to fall in whoredom and live a life of pain and suffering, all right? So this person, you know, right, was to be brought out by the gate, right? And they would stone them with stones until they die. Continue.
The damsel, because she cried not.
Because she did what?
Because she cried not.
No, right? Because she didn't shout and holler
right.
and say, look, this man jump on top man and trying to rape me.
That's right.
And Hassan trying to have sex with me, right? She didn't say nothing. And Hassan, both of them will die because of that. And Hassan come from, right? She's supposed to boil, she'll boil out her lungs and fight to the death. Then Hassan come from this man, right? And if when I go high up in verse 23, it says this was only a person betrothed. This person was not what didn't marry yet. Didn't have, right? According to the Bible, marriage sex is marriage.
That's right.
Right? But this person didn't even have sex yet. She was just promised, right, to a man, and another man sleep with she. That was adultery too.
That's right.
You understand? And that is how serious the Most High just take this. So don't feel because well she just engaged, and I was steal she away. No, it never had that in the Bible. Once she was already promised to a specific man, right? It was done in the mind. It is done marriage, done looking to take place already, right? Continue, Baba Kusha.
And the man, because he had humbled his neighbor's wife.
He had done what?
Humbled his neighbor's wife.
If you notice, this was a woman promised to. They didn't have sex yet, but when the Bible calls she, his neighbors
has humbled his neighbor's wife.
That's right. And as I come from, they call the woman that person's wife.
That's right.
That's how you have to consider it. And understand? So once she promised her brother, as we are saying, local parlance, you can't steal she.
That's right.
And understand? Don't feel like a slide and underneath and say, well, they ain't have sex yet. And understand? I go take she first. No. And understand? According to the Bible, that is adultery. Right? And it would be stoned to death, right? You would pay the penalty of death, the punishment of death, right? Continue.
So thou shalt put away evil from among you.
Right? And that's why the Most I think about everything, every scenario,
that's right.
Every circumstance. And as someone say, if you feel they could beat or bend the law, the Most High on top of things.
That's right.
Right? And it says, so shall we put away the evil. And as so there was no room and for evil in a city or in a town, right, or in a country. When once it's under the authority of the Most High, that's how the kingdom of the Most High going to be. And this is going to be a place of rulership,
that's right,
and of order and decency. All right. Continue to verse 25, Baba Kusha.
Verse 25. But if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field,
right? So this now is a damsel who promised to somebody in the field, right? She far out on a countryside road walking somewhere. This woman promised to somebody, right? But she far out in the field. Well, back in the day, they had big vineyards,
that's right,
right? With all kind of people working on it, right? But this is a woman who not close to the city. She have no neighbors around, nobody around she, right? Continue.
And the man forced her.
And the man did what? And
the man force her.
That's right. Understand? This here in the Bible. So all who like to say that they can rape people, that is not true. You cannot rape nobody.
That's right.
Right? According to the scriptures. Right? Right? Continue.
And lie with her.
Right? So you force her and lie with her. Go ahead.
Then the man only that lay with her shall die.
That's right. You understand? Coming from the man only with her shall die. So then they will say, well, what kind of two-sided thing is that? You understand? People like say, well, look, the Bible contradicting itself. No. You understand? They're going to explain why the man alone is going to die in this situation.
That's right.
Right? Continue.
But unto the damsel, thou shalt do nothing.
Thou shalt do what?
Thou shalt do nothing.
So nothing is going to happen to she. Continue.
There is in the damsel no sin.
Right? So it has no sin in she. Continue.
Worthy of death.
No sin worthy of death. Continue.
For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth him, even so is this matter.
So when a man rises against his neighbor and slay him, that is what it is called murder. Right? This punishment for rape, it is same as murder.
That's
so
right.
It's just like if you murder a man.
That's right.
And the penalty is death. You understand where I'm from? That is how serious, right? This was back in the times of Israel, and so it's going to be when the kingdom of heaven established on the face of the earth.
That's right.
Nobody will be raping nobody on the face of the earth, right? Continue.
Verse 27. For he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her.
That's right. Because when this woman cried, it had nobody around. You understand? Who go and hear she call when she somewhere quiet down in the bush in the back of somewhere? You understand? Or in a field that far for anybody else.
That's right.
Nobody was able to hear her cry. You understand where I'm from? So this woman now would be spared. But the woman who in the city, right, and they know somebody forced herself in there and they ain't do nothing, both of them was going to be put to death.
That's right.
You understand? So the woman, when you hear it or salakia, God forbid that they end up in a situation like this, it ball out your lungs. You understand? Fight.
That's
Chuck
right.
him in the eye. Do something. You understand? Come from the kindest lady, right? Because why? Back in the day, you would be put to death. You never put up a fight, right? That was the end of verse 27, Babakusha.
Can.
From there, you will jump and give me Matthew chapter 19 and verse 9, Babakusha.
Can.
Right? So these are the things that was written, right? For the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, right? Right? Now, as we're going along here, right? You will hold that from I'll get next scripture. Right? As we're going along, right? And on this situation, you know, we talk about the man, right, sleeping with a married woman, right? Because according to the scriptures, right, a man could have more than one wife, right?
That's right.
But a woman supposed to have one husband, right? One husband. She can't have multiple husbands, right? When she have multiple husbands, she become adulterous harlot, right? Two things in one, right?
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So we jump to two scriptures to show that a man could have more than one wife, right? So we will just clear up that one time, right? So you give me first. Now give me Deuteronomy 21 and verse 15 to 16, Babakusha. You go start there.
Can.
Yeah, 21, 15 to 16.
Can. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21 and verse 15.
Go ahead.
If a man have two wives.
If a man have what?
Two wives.
If a man have one wife.
Two wives.
If a man have what?
Two wives.
If a man have two wives. You understand where I'm from? Right? This is in the Bible.
That's right.
I'm not making up this. You understand? This is in the Bible. If a man have two wives, go ahead.
One beloved.
Right? So if he love one, go ahead.
And the other hated.
Another one hated, right? The fallout, that understanding. Right? Continue.
And they have borne him children.
And they have borne him what?
Children.
Go ahead.
Both the beloved and the hated.
Right? So the two wives, the one he like and the one he don't like so much. You understand? Go ahead.
And if the firstborn son be hers that was hated.
Right? So if the firstborn son of hers, right? If the firstborn son of hers that was hated, continue.
Then it shall be when he maketh his sons to inherit that which he hath, that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn before of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn.
Right. So and like the spirit of Israel, there was no emotion.
That's right.
And so not because you don't like the next wife. If she had the firstborn child, that child had to get the inheritance.
That's right.
Whether like she, right, or not like the next one, right?
That's right.
But this is a scripture that touches on inheritance, but this is to also show you too as well that a man could have two wives, right, according to the scriptures, and this was not sin, right? And next one, you give me 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1. You can start from verse 1, Babakasha. Right? Here we're going to understand, right? So this first man, he had two wives, right? So we sure he could have two wives, but could he have more than two wives? You're going to answer that in 1 Kings, right? Go ahead.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women.
Right, so King Solomon, right, is one of the wisest kings on the earth, right, who lived on the earth, and they say he loves strange women. When it says strange women, he loved women of the other nations.
That's right.
Right, and we go on to understand the consequences of loving women of the other nations. Right, continue.
Together with the daughter of Pharaoh.
Right, together with the daughter of Pharaoh. Right, the Egyptian. Continue.
Women of the Moabites.
The Chinese, he like Egyptians and he like Chinese. Go ahead.
Ammonites.
And the Ammonites. Go ahead.
Edomites.
Edomites, so all the Japanese and white people. You like women of that nation. Go ahead.
Zidonians.
Go ahead.
And Hittites.
Right, more Africans. Continue.
Verse 2. Of the nations concerning which the Most High said unto the children of Israel.
Right, and this is what the Most High said to the children of Israel about marrying people of the other nations. Right, go ahead.
Ye shall not go into them.
We shall not go into them. You shall not make marriages or have sex with them. Right, continue.
Neither shall they come in unto you.
Right, and neither we should bring them in unto us. So we ain't bringing them in we nation, and we not going in their nation to look for wives, right, and or for the women to look for husbands. Right, we were not to marry or have sex with the other nations. Right. Continue.
For surely they will turn away your heart.
They will do what?
Turn away your heart.
All right, continue.
After their gods.
That's right. So that's why we were never supposed to marry none of the other nations, because we will not do what? Turn away our heart.
That's right.
And after they marry an East Indian woman, the next thing you know, you're keeping puja. All right, they married some African, next thing you know, you're jumping up with fire on your head, and understand, and celebrating some African tradition, whatever it is. You understand? They married an Edomite, you understand? Most likely, not most likely, you're going to turn a Christian. That immediately, right? So we were not supposed to marry any of the women or men, or the women taking any men of the other nations, right? Continue.
Solomon clave unto these in love.
Right, but Solomon clave unto these in love, right? And they end up turning away the King Solomon heart from serving the Most High power, right? The true God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? Continue to verse 3, Babakasha.
Verse 3. And he had 700 wives.
How much wives Solomon had?
700 wives.
Continue.
Princesses and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart.
That's right. And understand, because these wives was of the other nations. So you notice now, right, that the sin, right, or the sin was not the amount of wife he had.
That's right.
The sin was that he married wives of the other nations and they turned away his heart from the Most High power. All right. So we go jump back now, and you'll give me Matthew chapter. We read 9 and 19 already. Matthew 9 and 19.
So last year, I don't think we read 9 and 19. Let's double check. 9 and 19 only. Yeah. 9 and 19.
9 and 9, sorry. 19 and 9.
19 and 9.
Yeah, come on.
Right. The book of Matthew, chapter 19 and verse 9. And I say unto you, whosoever shall put away his wife.
All right, so this is Christ talking here, right? In the book of Matthew, right? And the topic come up about putting away your wife. All right? All right, continue.
Except it be for fornication.
All right, except it be for fornication, right? Continue.
And shall marry another.
All right? And shall marry another, continue.
Committed adultery.
Committed what?
Committed adultery.
Right. So all those evil bastard sexual sins that they commit, right? Your wife go and sleep with another man, or she go and sleep with some type of beast, or anything in that department, anything outside the ordinary that they're not supposed to do, right? All that was considered what? Committed what?
Committed adultery.
Continue.
And whoso marrieth her, which is put away.
Right. So the only reason they could have put away wife was for fornication. Nothing else. Right. Continue. Salakia, read back. Right after committed adultery.
And whoso marrieth her, which is put away. Doth commit adultery.
Right. You understand? So now, this is an example of what happened now, right? So a man and a woman meet together, right? And they have sex, right? Sex in the Bible is marriage. So you marry this person, and then one of them find, well, the woman find the husband throwing his socks on top of the bed too much.
That's right.
Right? And she decides to leave. Understand? Right? Or the woman, the man find the woman, she ain't cooking too good. Understand? And he decides to leave. That couldn't happen. You understand where I come from? Right? Unless Ole committed some evil evil type of sinful or sinful sexual act, right? Or that you could have put away your wife, right? Your wife cheating with the sleeping with the neighbor. And that's where I come from. Then no, that would cause the bond of marriage to break. Right? Or the man become a homosexual.
That's right.
You understand where I come from? Right? That will cause the bond of marriage to break. These things. You understand? Or one of them going into bestiality. You understand? Or some type of lewdness. Right? That the Most High never gave us. Right? We pick up some strange custom of the other nations. Right? Some strange sexual desire, understand that is unclean to the Most High.
That's right.
The Most High, now that bond of marriage is broken. But if this never happened, understand, and it's because of something trivial, understand where I come from, right? I don't know, you find you're with your husband too long. Right? All them kind of ridiculous nonsense. Or you find out your husband get poor.
Yeah.
And that's where I come from. Or you win a lot and you feel you want to leave your partner. That was not so, right? Right? Well,
he ain't making enough income.
Cancer. You understand? Right? And they want to leave your spouse. That could not happen in the nation of Israel. And the nation of the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man, right? They have to stick it out and make it.
That's right.
You understand? You are supposed to build an amazing relationship with your wife. You understand? And make it through whatever tough times it is. You understand? And prove yourself to be a master in the category of marriage.
That's right.
All right. But if right that man or woman put away his spouse for no reason, that also is considered adultery. Right? And when we look back, right, at the meaning that they give, right, in America's dictionary today, right, it's something totally different. And that's not common because this saying, once they just sleep with an next person, right? But for the woman, right, adultery for the woman, right, she was to have one husband alone, and when she goes outside that one husband, she committed adultery. Right? And for the man can have more than one wife. But if he decides to put away one of his wife, now he causing her to commit adultery, so he committed adultery also. He has to face the consequences. You couldn't force or rape anybody. Right? All these things written in the laws in the scriptures. And if these things were being taught in the Christian churches, half of the problems we have now, we'd never have it.
That's right.
And that's where I come from, and everybody would know who the mother and father is. And not having to go and look for them some way, and fighting to trace the lineage and trying to find a heritage,
right,
and looking for the inheritance. Right, these things will never happen. Understand? Half of the homes who fathers are in jail, right? Men make jail because other men sleep with their wife, and they get so angry and mad. You understand? I come from that they kill that man, and now they're in prison for murder.
That's right.
You understand where I come from? Right? I like to show you how the Bible is true justice. You understand? Because in that situation, if now because they know you can't get no justice in the system, you get mad and they kill the man. But in the kingdom of the Most High, there is justice.
That's right.
Right? And if this happened in the kingdom, you right, I would have stand up and watch both your wife who commit adultery and the man who commit adultery die. The whole nation would have come by the gate to witness this.
That's right.
The death to cancel out that evil from the society. All right. So from there, Babakasha, we go jump We go jump to give me Ecclesiasticus 9 and 9.
Come on. The book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 9 and verse 9.
Well,
sit not at all with another man's wife.
Do what?
Sit not at all with another man's wife.
That's right. And this is what is put a lot of men in society in a dangerous position, and we don't even know, right? And put our man's wife in a dangerous position,
right?
And we don't even know, because why? The Christian church or the Muslim mosque, right? Or the Mandir or whatever religion it may be, right? This is what they're supposed to learn. Never do what? Sit with another man's wife.
Right.
Continue.
Nor sit down with her in thine arms.
So you're going on to explain it more. To make it catch the understanding. You understand? Don't have another man's wife in your arms.
That's right.
You understand? That the path leading down to adultery and murder in the end. That the path of your destruction. You understand? Continue.
And spend not thy money with her at the wine.
That's right. You understand? You and another man's wife going on and you know, they like a business trip. You understand? She working in some big company and already decide, well, they're going to promote this company down in I don't know, East Asia. You understand where I'm from? And you're the boss and this woman in the company, but they know she married. You understand? Don't take out the man's wife to dinner.
Right.
That's craziness. You understand? This is the part of destruction. Right? Continue.
Lest thine heart incline unto her.
Lest your heart what?
Incline unto her.
That's right. Next thing you know, they like to put this smooth way. Well, you have feelings, right? This is not about feelings. And the nation in Israel, this is the pathway to sin and death, right? The pathway to destruction, right? Continue.
And so, through thy desire, thou fall into destruction.
That's right. You understand? Because now you develop a desire for this woman. Now you develop a desire for our next man's wife. And now you put yourself in for what? Destruction. And next thing you know, plaster in the news, you dead. And understand? Because why? Our next man, he hire a private investigator tracking down your wife, and he find you and he murder you. You understand? He kill you, shoot you to death.
So like or probably swing and murder your whole family.
That's right. That's a serious point to bring down to, because it can lead to other people now.
That's right.
Becoming injured because of your bad decision. You understand? Right? So and this only showing you they already knew and understand this knowledge fully.
Right.
But we pick up the customs and the culture of white man society today and all these other nations, the East Indian practices. Look locally ancient and watch how much, right? Men and women die because of adultery. You understand where I come from, right? Just not too long ago, right? A man go on the work and kill his wife. You understand? Because he realized he gave his wife everything she could ask for: car, house, land. And understand? He said she on vacation. And understand? And she still go and sleep with another man. And that bring him to such a rage that he come on the work, call she out in the parking lot and shoot she in the head and kill she. You understand? And then kill himself.
Right.
Understand? Right? That tell you the chaos and destruction adultery does cause. Right? But because now these religious institutions and churches do not teach this, understand? Everybody lacking that understanding and everybody feel it's a light thing. This is not a light thing. This is a serious thing. They say adultery is like unto murder,
right,
according to the scriptures, right? All right, so from there we go jump and you give me Proverbs chapter 32 to Proverbs chapter 6 verse 32 to 35.
Can. The book of Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 32. But whoso committed adultery with a woman lacketh understanding.
Read that one more time again.
But whoso committed adultery with a woman lacketh understanding.
Right, because this man lacketh understanding. This man don't understand what he doing to himself.
Right.
This is something, right, a man and woman doing to themselves. You don't do nobody nothing.
That's right.
You understand? You're doing this to yourself. Right? Continue.
he that doeth it destroyeth his own soul.
That's right. And that's where I'm coming from, right? If you feel like getting away with this, that is leading to your own destruction. And you lacking the understanding, you don't know you're killing yourself. You understand? The entire nations fall because of these kind of things.
Right.
And that's where I'm coming from. Yeah, can right? Entire nations get destroyed, right? For men and women committing adultery and sleeping with one another. And the scripture say, he that had doeth this destroyed their own soul. It leads to your own destruction, black man. Your own destruction, Hispanic man. Your own destruction, Native Indian man. Right? This is why the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man need to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High, right, power gave upon the face of the earth. Understand? He made these rules and instructions for the black, Hispanic, Indian man to thrive on this earth, to be a ruler upon the face of the earth, right? The scripture says the Most High made us to be priests and kings upon the face of the earth. We were supposed to be the ones ruling and giving the law upon the face of the earth and setting the earth aright. And that's under our, right? And thank God for commanding GEN.YAHANNA, who been holding on the truth, right, since 1969, right, coming down, right, and teaching, right, the captains, officers coming right down in the I.S.U.P.K. The I.S.U.P.K. is the only place on the earth, right, and understand, teaching the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. No other place. You're not going anywhere else. Anywhere else would tell you these laws done away with, right, or the Bible written by the white man, which are all lies. You understand? This law was made. The reason why nobody else, right, and everybody is struggling to keep this law was made for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man on the face of the earth. You understand? This is our law. This is our constitution. This is our culture. This is what we build our nation with. You understand? This is for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man and no other man, according to the scriptures. All right. I will go down to the book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 33, right? And it say, a wound and dishonor shall he get, right? So the man who committed adultery, right? It say a wound and dishonor, he will be brought to shame, right? You will be brought to shame, right? That is the reward. Your reward is a wound and dishonor, right? And his reproach shall not be wiped away. And that's where I'm coming from. That's a sad thing, black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. And that's where I'm coming from, right? That's a sad place to be in, right? The entire reputation destroyed as a black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man in the reputation, right? In the reputation. Salakia. Yeah. Right? It shall be destroyed. It shall be totally destroyed and wipe away, right? You can never hold yourself up as a true man, understand, right? Because now you become weak, understand. Only effeminate people. This is for the Christian church, because them don't have no laws. The Christian church is lawless, understand where I come from? They fight to be lawless, right? Because their leaders cause them to go astray by not teaching them the laws, the statutes, and the commandments of the Most High, not giving them that proper instruction to build a proper foundation to build their life right, to be an upright man in society, right? It is a weak thing to go to sleep with another man's wife. That is a weak and evil and wicked thing, right? According to the scriptures, right? The book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 34, it says, for jealousy is the rage of a man, therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. Understand? And it say, right, the jealousy is the rage of a man, and in the day of vengeance he ain't gonna spare you. Understand? Right? And that is why we just see adultery happening, right, in the form of murders. Understand? Because it's the highest point. Understand where I'm coming from? Right? You take a man's possession and defile it according to the scriptures, right? You destroy a whole man's life. People destroying families, right? Because now they're looking to trot with a next man's wife, right? Even in some of these music videos, And understand they will promote things like your girl is my girl and my girl is your girl. According to the scriptures, that is adultery. And understand where I come from? Two men not supposed to be sharing one woman. Understand? Right? That is breaking the most highest commandments. Understand? Right? You destroying the order how society is supposed to be. Understand? The order with the most high set up for man to function properly on the face of the earth. That's why disease, the spread. That's why the black man high in HIV. Understand? And syphilis and gonorrhea and all them STDs. Let us get. You understand? Because everybody lawless, everybody sleeping with who they want, whatever. So it's to disease spreading. And the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man needs to pull back himself in right standing. Understand? And in right order. Understand? And truly conduct himself according to the scriptures. And the only place you can learn that is in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. Understand? As I said before, is the only place. Understand that where you will be taught the laws, statutes, and commandments, and the Most High. No other place on the face of the earth. Understand? Teaching the laws, statutes, and commandments at the Most High. All other places is Christianity. Understand? Christian, full out Christian doctrine. You understand? And because of Christian doctrine, causing the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man and woman to be dying today. You understand? Because we don't understand. Understand these rules that God set on the earth, whether you believe it or not, is in effect. Understand? And it will face the consequences when you trespass or break these laws, right? Or these rules, right? We're down to verse 35. The book of Proverbs, chapter 6 and verse 35 say, he will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest him many gifts. Understand? Because why? Imagine a man commit adultery to wife and he trying to bribe you and give you a gift. Understand? The rage, understand, in your heart. Understand? When I say in your heart, in your mind. Understand? Nobody can bribe you because of that. That's why murder has happened. Understand? You can't quench the rage in that man. Understand where I come from? Right? Because why? You destroy his possession, you destroy his wife. Understand? Right? You destroy something that belongs to that man. Understand? And just like we read earlier in the scriptures, it say, well, adultery is just as if you commit murder, it's just as if you kill somebody. Understand? You kill some family member, somebody, it's obvious they will get enraged and want to kill you. Understand? And this is what the scripture saying. Understand? You can't bribe that man. Understand? Because you can't bring back that person, you destroy that person according to the scriptures. Understand? So according to the scriptures, right? Whosoever committed adultery with a woman, that man lack understanding. He don't the destruction. Understand? On the face of the earth. He don't understand the destruction that he causes to families, to children. Understand? To households. To the order that the Most High set up. Understand? For the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man on the face of the earth. Understand? And that is why the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man in the bottom of society. Understand? Because why? We begin to live like the other nations. We begin to live like beasts upon the face of the earth. Understand? Anybody with anybody. Understand? Until the word gone totally, of course, no way. Man with man, woman with woman. Understand? Right? Something that the Most High call an abomination in the scriptures. In the book of Leviticus 20 and 10. Right? A man was never supposed to lie down with a man, and a woman was never supposed to lie down with a woman. Never. You understand? The Most High never designed it that way. He designed a man for a woman. So the Chinese man is the Chinese woman. You understand? And the African man is for the African woman. Right? The white man is for the white woman. Right? The Israelite man, the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man is for the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian woman. That's how it's supposed to be. You understand? And when these atrocities like homosexuality and all these different types of fornication, right, come in, it destroys the fabric of our society and degrades the society until everybody turn like beasts. You understand? So nobody can rule or nothing. You understand? Because you yourself behaving like a beast. You understand? You become a wild man. You understand? Right? You become somebody unruly. Right? Not somebody who is in their right mind. They're not in their right mind, right? According to the scriptures, right? So from here now, right? We will go down. You go down to Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 7, right? We will start at verse 7. Right? And it says Proverbs 7 and 7. And behold, among the simple ones, I discern among the youth a young man void of understanding, right? So the simple one, right, that is a young man who don't understand. He don't understand, right, or the actions, the consequences of the actions that he going to commit. And understand? I come from, he working about his life day to day, no law. And understand? Careless. Understand? And this is what the Christian church will produce. Right? That's why here in the I.S.U.P.K we just say come out of the Christian church, because inside they will lead to your absolute destruction. You understand? Your pastor isn't teaching you anything. Understand? And he will lead you onto your own destruction. Right? Because they're not doing things according to us. Right? The Christian church and all the different religious denominations, understand, totally opposite to what the scripture is saying. Right? We go on to the book of Proverbs chapter 7 and verse 8. Passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way of her house. Right? So this is a young man, right, going to this woman's house, and they're going to explain who this woman is. Right? Pass by the corner, and the direction is heading to she house. Right? Verse 9, it says, in the twilight, in the evening, in the black, and in the dark night. And imagine this was written thousands of years ago, right? And it's so accurate today. And understand? Because most time when you want to commit your folly, and understand, or you sin because you know it wrong, in the night, and they waiting until the sun go down in the night, and understand, to commit your acts, because they feel by nobody is seeing. You understand? Nobody is seeing me. And understand where I come from? That is the time for me to move. You understand? That is the time she husband going to work. You understand where I come from? Right? That is the time she going to work. So you look into what? You look into capitalize. You understand where I come from? In the dark and night, these things just happen. Right? And then we move on now. Right? So it say in the verse 9 say, in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night, right? Verse 10, and behold, there met him a woman with the attire of an harlot. You understand? And when you look around today, that's what's around. You understand? Nobody had to tell you what the attire of a harlot is. Everybody know. You understand? It's the most revealing people outside. You understand? Watch all the Instagram and the Facebook and the TikTok. You understand where I come from? Right? All these different social media platforms. You understand? And look at everybody half naked. You understand? People, women in the underwear. You understand? Jumping up and all these videos saying that they're doing a Facebook challenge or a TikTok challenge or dancing. Right? And the attire, understand? They're in the underwear. That attire of a harlot. You understand where I come from? We need to come back to the laws, statutes, and commandments. Come back. You understand? Where women could dress modestly. You understand? Right? Where a man will be going to look for a prostitute. You understand? In some dark alley somewhere. You understand? Right? Or going in some cat house. You understand? The black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man supposed to be priests and kings upon the face of the earth. We supposed to be the rulers of the earth. You understand? Right? But a king can't rule if he have no order about himself. Can't be in charge. You understand? Make bad judgment. Just as the scripture say, you will lack understanding. All right? So, this young man, right, who went in the dark of the night to this woman's house, right? And behold, he met a woman, and this woman, Right? This wasn't any woman. This woman had on the attire of a harlot, right? And subtle of heart. And understand? She tricky. And understand? She looking to rope him in, right? Verse 11. She is loud and stubborn. Her feet abide not in her house. And understand? This is the description of a harlot. Understand? Or we will locally call it a prostitute or a whore. And understand where I come from? And the description is given, right, is that she is loud. Her feet abide not in her house. And when we look today, it's the same exact thing. And this written thousands of years ago. You understand? Thousands of years ago. This written. And it's still accurate. It's on point today. You understand? We're going to look around, right? All them loud mouth and all who do like to steal a lot. Prostitute all over the place. You understand? Saying they had a life together. When the life not together. You understand? Right? Verse 12. The book of Proverbs 7 and verse 12. It's saying, now is she without, now in the streets, and laid wait at every corner. And she leaves your house and gone out on the street, looking to entrap a boy. You understand? Looking to mash up a marriage. You understand? Looking to see who she could catch. Right? With what? The nature of the attire she wearing. You understand? That is the type of that's the type of man she looking to catch. The man who looking for that type of attire. The man who looking for the attire of a harlot. That is the man she looking for. Right? And then it say now, verse 12. Now is she without in the streets and laid wait and lieth at every corner. Verse 13. So she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said to him, verse 14, I have peace offerings with me this day. Right? I have paid my vows. So she wanted this young man, and understand, to come in with she. And understand, she's spitting smooth words to this young man. She's trying to entrap this man. Understand? And that's why the young man at the day, understand, had to gird up his loins and strengthen himself and make himself a man. And the only way we can make himself a man is to come in the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA. Because the Christian church full of homosexuals, full of effeminate, full of men who looking for women with the attire of a harlot. Them don't want a good woman. That is what they're looking for. Understand? That's why the Christian church full of women too. And all of them are no husband. You understand? Because why? Breeding men, but them men looking for harlot. Them looking for a different type of woman. You understand? And that's why the Christian church, right, is absolute rubbish. The Christian church is absolute, leading to your destruction. Black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. Right? So you need to come with these religious organizations, religious institutions, right? And then now verse 15, book of Proverbs, chapter 7 and verse 15 say, therefore came I forth to meet thee diligently to seek thy face. I have found thee. Verse 16, I have decked my bed with coverings, tapestry, and carved works with fine linen of Egypt. So she makes sure and picks up ancient house nice. Understand? Because she wants to do what? Entrap this young man. This young man who void of understanding. She don't understand, not understanding the position that he put in himself in. The trap he put in himself in. Understand? And that's what the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man have to understand. Understand? That is a trap for the black man, a trap for the Hispanic man, a trap for the Native Indian man, right? Verse 16, I have decked my bed with coverings, tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. Verse 17, and perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love until the morning. Let us solace ourselves, for the good man is not at home. He is gone for a long journey. Understand? So after she prepared the inside, she was nice and put nice sweet smelling oils, right? And decorative nice. She said, come. Understand? Let us take our fill with love. Understand? No, this young man going to have sex with his harlot, and he don't understand that this leading to his own destruction, the destruction of his own soul, right? And verse 19 says, for the good man is not at home, he is gone a long journey. Understand? So we're saying these are married woman. Understand? And she has been gone for a long journey. She has been gone on what? A business trip. Understand? And she now is a harlot. She bringing the next man. Understand? I will say locally here, we don't say the outside man. Understand? And you know, sleeping with another man wife, you commit adultery. Understand?
Yes.
Well, yeah, can. Right? And this here now is what has lead to your destruction.
Right.
Your murder. Understand? Then your wife now balling because she didn't realize it now. Understand? My husband sleeping with a next woman. Understand? Right? A next man, and then they only a next woman because a man could have more than one, but he sleep with a next man or wife.
Right. And
that is really difficult to come in when it comes to a man. You understand? Never entangle yourself with a next man wife. Make sure that woman single. You understand? A man could have more than one wife. You understand? But make sure that woman is going to is a single woman and not belonging to somebody else, not somebody else's possession. You understand? Make sure she belongs to somebody. And the woman, make sure you have one husband. That is it. One husband. You understand? And it could safeguard yourself from destruction. All right? That is how the black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man is to live on the face of this earth. Right? And all these things what we teaching here tonight, this is the place that I come to learn it.
Right.
Under the I.S.U.P.K, in the I.S.U.P.K, under command of GEN.YAHANNA. This is the only place that teaching this. You will never go no other place and find this. You understand? This is new news for a lot of people.
Right.
You understand? Right? This is the place you can find this and many other things that you will learn that you will be amazed. Just as everybody who come in the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA. Right? So we go stop there and we go jump to we go into the book of Ecclesiasticus, right? Chapter 26 and verse 12. Give me verse 12.
Can one count the Apocrypha?
Can one count? 26 and verse 12.
26 and 12. Can one count the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26 and verse 12.
When
she will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler.
That's right. This is why adulterers, a harlot. You understand? That's ways because any man pass you want a man. You understand? You have no control over yourself. You understand? Right? Continue.
As a thirsty traveler, he had found a fountain.
That's right. You understand where I'm from? And that's a serious comparison. You understand? When a man real thirsty and you're looking for water, you're drinking anything, you don't care. You understand? You ain't care if it's bird pee. You understand where I'm from? Because you just want some water to touch your tongue.
Right.
And that is how that the comparison with this woman. You understand where I'm from? This woman, any man should okay. You understand? She become more a harlot, she become an adulterous woman.
Right.
Right? Continue.
And drink of every water nearby her.
That's right. And she will drink of any man tells you something, she go on with that man. You understand? That is not a life to live. That is not a life to live. That life is unto destruction for the black woman and the Hispanic woman and the Native Indian woman. That life is destruction. You understand? And for the man, you can't sleep with a man and show with the woman. You understand? That is adultery too. You understand? If you sleep with a woman, you know that is your wife. You understand? You have to take she as a wife. You can't just get rid of she and throw she away and then go to the next woman. And then when you reach the next woman, you throw she away to and you go into the next woman. You understand? If it's a man, and you sleep with 3 women, well, now you have 3 wives. So now we have a serious and big responsibility.
Right.
You understand? To stand up like a man and take care of. You understand? And for the woman, don't be going from man to man. Stay with one man. You understand? Right? And build a house. Make it something magnificent. Stand behind your man. You understand? And make the household great.
Right.
All right? Continue, Baba Kusha.
By every hedge will she sit down and open her quiver against every arrow.
That's right. And I quiver is the bag of an arrow. Right? That is whole arrow. You understand? You know them long time men who just carry a sack with arrows on the back. That's what it is. You understand? And imagine what much arrows that bag does hold. So this woman, she taken all that, man. That's sad. You understand? That's a sad thing. And imagine this woman who grew now, right? Was what? That is somebody's daughter. You understand? She totally put her family to shame. She put her father to shame. You understand where I'm coming from? Right? Because now what? She adulterous woman, and as the scripture we read earlier, right? That reproach can't get wiped away because everybody will always know you as that.
Right.
You understand? That's a sad place to be. Right? Continue to verse 13, Baba Kusha.
Verse 13. The grace of a wife delighteth her husband.
That's right. But a right standing woman, a great woman, right? Who is the wife of one husband, right? Right? Is what, Salakia?
The grace of a wife delighteth her husband.
That delighted her husband. Understand? That we're good men looking for. Understand? And when you look at it, that's why you can't find a good man. Because a good man looking for a wife with what? Grace.
Right.
Understand? Continue.
And her discretion will fatten his bones.
That's right. And she discretion. Understand? She not pushing herself all day. Understand? Not running to be on every social media post and every live. Understand? Come from and all she used to do. This woman had what? Discretion. Say what, he go fatten his bones. You understand? He will feel proud to have this woman as the wife. You understand? Continue.
Verse 14. A silent and loving woman.
A silent and what?
And loving woman.
That's right, go ahead.
Is a gift of the Most High.
From who?
Is a gift of the Most High.
That's amazing. Understand? It's a silent and loving woman. And how the harlot was? The harlot was loud. You understand? And she couldn't keep she foot home. She always somewhere. In somebody's place. In somebody's house. Always on the street. You understand? That is with the Christian church. That is the Christian church lacking. They're not teaching our women these type of things.
Right.
Understand? And they're not teaching the men to look out. Understand? For what is a good woman and what is a good wife. Understand? And how to avoid the traps of a harlot or adulterous woman. Right? Continue, Baba Kusha.
And there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed.
That's right. That's amazing. And understand? A woman who have a well instructed man, a woman who listening to her husband and doing what is according to the Most High's will. Understand? The Most High say, have one husband. That's it. Understand?
Right.
Be in one husband. And I say that mind, that is a well instructed mind.
That's right.
That is an amazing thing on the face of the few women you will find that today. Understand? And if it's a woman and you want to become better and to become your best self, come into the I.S.U.P.K under command GEN.YAHANNA. And he will make you your best self and make you live your best life on the face of the earth. And he will come and find a proper man and a good man. And a man who upright in the sight of the Most High.
Right.
Right? Continue.
Verse 15. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace.
Go ahead.
And her continent mind can't be valued.
That's right. And understand this woman who have control over she self and who obeys her husband, right? And that woman with that type of mind, but it can't be valued. It has no value. Imagine telling it has no value you could attach to that.
Right.
It has no price that they could pay for that. That is an amazing thing. You can't buy that. Understand? That's so ridiculous. Because you know what I'm telling you? It has a price for everything.
That's right.
This telling you a woman with this type of mind, it has no price for that. It's unbelievable. Right? Continue.
Verse 16. As the sun, Salakia, as the sun, when it ariseth in the high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house.
That's right. You understand? Just as when the sun come and when they put the curtain and when they look outside, the sky nice and blue, and they say, boy, these are good day, boy. You understand? When you look at that, it's the same way. When you have a good wife, when you find an amazing wife, a wife who upright and upstanding, Lord, and silent, and not loud mouth and not running over the place, and not sleeping with all different men.
Right.
When you find a wife who upright in the side of the most side and who making she husband smile and feel proud to be married to this woman, that would compare any son to that like the best day of his life.
Right.
You understand? That's the best thing that happened to him. You understand? And this is what society missing now. And the reason why we're missing this is because why? The Christian church, the Muslim mosque.
Right.
Understand? All them religion, all who say there's atheists. Understand? Right? All them Jehovah's Witnesses and Church of Latter-day Saints. You need to come out of all these institutions.
That's right.
Understand? And come into the I.S.U.P.K under command in GEN.YAHANNA and learn to be a scripture say a new creature.
That's right.
And now we have a new mind and a new thinking. Understand? This is how a queen does be. Understand? A queen is not a loud mouth and running all over the place. Understand? And if you value yourself as a queen and you want to find a king, then now you have to go and look for with a proper man, with a right man. Understand? And you can't be running around the place sleeping with everybody, right? Because that is adultery.
That's right.
According to the scripture. A man can be sleeping with nobody's wife. Find your own wife. You understand? It's thousands of women over the place and find out your own wife of your own race. You understand where I'm coming from? And leave the people wife alone. You understand? Let them sort of the business. That is not for you.
That's right.
You understand? That as we say locally down here, that is not your business. That is not your possession. All right? And with that, we go read one more and we'll close off, right? You will just give me Romans 3 and verse 3, Baba Kusha. And this we're going to read it because a lot of people will say, well, that all you mean believe that. You understand where I'm coming from? No, we're going to understand whether you believe it or not, it don't matter. Right? Go ahead.
The book of Romans chapter 3 and verse 3. For what if some did not believe?
Right, so the scripture say, well, what if some people don't believe, right, that they don't have to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High? Go ahead.
Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect?
Right, so it says, shall because you don't believe, understand, right, that you're committing adultery by sleeping with a next man's wife, or the woman running about she body and sleeping from man to man because you don't believe that adultery, if that would change anything. Right? This is what the scripture is saying. Go ahead to verse 4.
Verse 4. The Most High forbid. Yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar, as it is written.
That's right. And just as the scripture say, right, let God be true and every man be a liar.
Right.
As it is written.
That's right.
As it is written in this book. Understand? This book will be a witness against you. The word of God will be a witness against anybody who's saying that they don't believe in the Most High.
That's right.
They will come when eventually you will come to say that the word of God and the power of the Most High is true. Right? And with that, we go end the class and we go pass the class over to priest and officer Makakova.
These are the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of One West. 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21 and Malachi chapter 3 verses 8 to 10. Means tenth in Hebrew and is pronounced ma'asher. 10% of every penny of any increase the Most High give you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation.
The upcoming Holy Convocation is the Feast of First Fruits, which is June the 21st before sundown. You can find this in Leviticus chapter 23, verses 10 to 22.
Come on. Remind Achium and Aquatium to check on social media, such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on, for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, like shirts, like pants, like headband or scarf. All right, and we're going to say the Lord's Prayer. All right, let's turn and face the east. Salakia. Fine, Salakia, you can go ahead and see the first one.
Maya, Kwadash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwatka, Taba'a, Ratazaka, Haya, Aisha, Barakaza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayam, Nawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kawawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kawawatanawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Wanasayawan, Abal, Awashainawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Hamalakwat, Wa'ala, Wataparat, Wa'aiwalamiam, Aman. What we said in English was, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.